The next speaker is Gaurav Gupta from Bayara as well, and he's going to talk about AI tools for development in the Jakarta ecosystem.
Yeah, thank you. Hi everyone. I'm Gaurav Gupta, and I'm Apache NetBeans committer and Dream Team member, and I'm also creator of JEDIC tool, which is a Jakarta tool for Apache NetBeans ID. So I'm excited to share how AI tools are making Jakarta development faster and easier, and I will talk about how AI is helping Jakarta developer to build a strong application faster and easier. So the agenda is I will create a conference app using these AI tools. I'm going to use Bayara Starter and JEDIC AI Assistant for Apache NetBeans ID. And these tools gonna kickstart the application using archetype and then suggesting the real world code in the Apache NetBeans ID. So before starting, a quick disclaimer, these tools are completely free, so there is no commercial interest. And the code generated by the AI tools sometimes may contain error or inconsistency. So that depends on each attempt, varying around each attempt. And so if you want to use it in production, make sure it is thoroughly tested and reviewed to ensure it is functional and working well with security standards. So let's go through the traditional development tool on which Jakarta developer have relied on over years. So the project generator and archetypes are tools which is used to scaffold the application, but they have limitation and have set of templates to generate the application. Whereas visual designers are good for designing the database schema or front-end UI elements, but they are not context aware. So you have to manually place all those components in the designer. And ID auto completions are good for developer. It is quite incredible tool for developer, but it helps only with the syntax in the ID. And manual test case and documentation are quite essential, but it is really time consuming for developer. So when we add the AI-driven approach to all these tools, what we're going to achieve. So let's see. With the AI-driven approach on the project generator, it becomes adaptive generator. It means it can suggest icons, titles, or description in web component, and it can also help in generating UI tooltip or labels in the web form. With the visual designer, when we add AI approach, it becomes context aware and it can understand the natural language command. So it can auto design all the components, could be database schema or web components in the designer based on the context awareness. Archetypes are now replaced with natural language command. So in the AI chat, you can just ask to create a REST endpoint for a specific class, and chat can reply with those source code. And when this chat is integrated in the ID, then with a one click, you can save all those source code in your existing project. And when AI awareness is added, AI-driven approach is added to auto-completion in ID, it gets context awareness of all source code in your classes, in your project, and it can suggest more business logic instead of just helping with the syntax. And with the automated AI-driven test cases, it can save a lot of time for the test cases and the documentation. So at the end, it makes you to code smarter, not harder. So the first tool I'm going to use, which is quite important for Jakarta developer, is Bayara Starter. And Bayara Starter is designed to simplify creation of Jakarta application, optionally using ER diagram. And with the help of generative AI, Bayara Starter can automatically design the ER diagram and refine it. And the Bayara Starter takes it to next level for Jakarta development by adding support for microprofile, Docker, and creating the secured application. So ER diagram designer is one of the standout feature in ParaStarter, and with the help of generative AI, it can design and refine the diagram based on your needs, without even if you don't have a lot of domain knowledge of that specific area or expertise. So here I asked to create a diagram for SFS con, and it understood the context and created the diagram for conference. So it returned a diagram with two entities, conference and attendee. So when we have one basic diagram is generated, it can understand the context, and you can do live adjustment using natural language command in a chat in the bottom. And so I asked it to further modify this existing diagram to enhance it, and it again added two more entities, registration and feedback. So now it has some context awareness of previous diagram, and it understood the context of conference and added few more entities. So it's like having AI assistant in this designer, and it is working with you to increase the size of this diagram and enhancing it with you as your application or requirement evolves. Generative AI can also help to enlarge or shrink this diagram by getting more context awareness from the previous diagram info. And I pressed this plus button, which is enlarge button. So it again enhanced this diagram automatically with few more entities like networking, session, and speaker. So if I press the plus button again to enlarge the diagram, it may add more related entities like exhibition, workshops, feedback, survey. So on the left side, you see there is a text editor for this diagram, which is mermaid in the mermaid format, and you may also manually refine this diagram based on your need. And once you are happy with your manual refinement or AI-based refinement, you can finally press the generate button, which is on the home page of the starter. So this is what generated application looks like. It has all those list of entities which are designed by AI. And you see the beauty is here. Generative AI is not only helping in designing the ER diagram, it is also helping in designing the front-end UI. So the title, description, the icons, all are generated by AI. It was not feasible earlier using normal generator with archetype where templates are static. So in this page, you see on the left side, each entities have one icon which is chosen by AI based on the context, and on the right side there is a sample data in the form. And once you open the Add Conference button, and it will open the form, and all tooltip, form labels, all are descriptive and generated by AI. So I'm going to enhance this app further using other AI tools. So this app is generated by ParaStarter, which you can visit start.para.fish. Another important tool for Jakarta developer is Jedict AI Assistant for Apache NetBeans ID. This AI assistant is completely free, and I'm going to use to enhance the conference app further with this tool. And once you install this AI assistant in your Apache NetBeans ID, it can understand the context of your project or based on the package or open Java class files, and can provide real-time chat, can provide real-time business logic in your editor itself. It understands the context with the active database connection in the Apache NetBeans ID, so it can help real-time SQL query suggestion. It can solve your database issue via direct chat in the ID, so it got all info from the active database connection. It can help in expanding your REST endpoint. It can help in generating Git commit message. So once you have done some work in your ID and want to commit it, but if you want to have some description, so it can get the context from Git diff and generate a text message for the Git commit. And other important feature is it supports multiple LLM provider. So you can select the LLM provider of your choice and start harnessing its power. So this is a sample generated app which we have generated using Payara Starter, and I opened in the ID. And this is the CDI repository of speaker entity, speaker service. And here I'm asking for a code suggestion. So with the intelligent code completion, it got context awareness and can suggest the business logic based on the open source file. So here I asked send email to speaker, and it suggested a sample function, send email to speaker, with its full implementation. So now it's gonna save a lot of time for the developer, and developer can work more efficiently. Another key feature in the AI assistant is context-aware variable and method naming. So it can suggest meaningful name for variable and method or classes. So I opened the speaker resource, JAX-RS REST endpoint, and I highlighted the function create speaker and asked for alternate name, which is more relevant here. So it suggested list of few names, and I found enroll speaker is more relevant in compared to create speaker. So it's gonna solve a difficult problem in software engineering to name a variable. Another feature is having more clear or meaningful log message and generating Java docs for Java class and methods. So you're gonna have, it will ensure that you have well descriptive and comprehensive documentation for your project. So in the same enroll speaker method, I highlighted the text message for in the log and asked for few suggestions. So it listed few suggestions here, and I got more. I selected more clear instead of having a static generated method from archetype. Finally, another important feature is test case generation, which actually takes a lot of time for developer when writing the test cases. So I selected enroll speaker function again and selected the highlight option in the Apache NetBeans and asked generate test for method, and it will open the chat window and generate the test cases. And I saved this generated test method in the Apache NetBeans. So with generating test cases, it enforces good practice, which gonna improve code coverage, and at the end you're gonna have high quality software. So these are very important features in the limited time I have shown, and you can explore more by scanning this QR code on star.para.fish and jedic.github.io. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have questions from the audience? No questions? Then I will abuse this session to satisfy my own interests. Can you talk about some of the techniques or styles of AI? So for example, for the test case generator, we've had a talk before about test-driven development, AI generating test-driven development. How are you generating these test cases? So what does the pipeline look like? Are you using a service like OpenAI, or are you using something locally?
Yeah, so in the Jedic AI assistant, I'm using LangChain 4J, and behind the scene, you can select any LLM provider like OpenAI or Google Gemini, or even your local LLM provider, and it passes the prompt with text and the context of current class. Like I selected enroll method here. Yeah, this one. I selected enroll speaker here and asked for generating the test cases. So it sends this particular snippet to the OpenAI and asks to generate the test cases in Java format. And whatever it returns is shown in the chat, from where you can save in your ID.
Very cool, thank you. We have a question?
Is this plugin limited to the NetBeans ID, or do you plan to port it over also to other kind of IDs?
Yeah, it is limited to NetBeans ID, but it is completely free. And if you see other IDs, all have their some paid AI assistant. So in compared to other, this is completely fully free here.